Hello everyone and welcome back for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets and drama. So I'm back for another Have Your Say video.
Oh, Jesus. Gross.
And this video is for All Stars 11 episode 7. As some of you may know, because I have posted about this, I am currently on vacation, so I'm only doing videos every now and then. Now, I know some of you will be absolutely devastated. I'm sure all of you have already started crying already just at the thought of this.
Absolutely.
No one.
But it's kind of got a bit too far along for me and I've missed so many episodes. I'm not going to do Have Your Say videos for episodes 5 and 6 now. So I'm going to briefly go over those episodes, but this particular video is going to be focusing more on episode 7 because it was the start of bracket 3. So in this video, we're going to be going through mainly episode 7, going through the results of the Have Your Say poll where you voted on if you agreed with the outcome of this episode. And we're talking about a little bit of drama unrelated to All Stars 11 to do with Mistress Isabelle Brooks being called out and accused for instigating sexual harassment. All that and more coming up in today's video, so let's get started. And if you like these videos, please make sure you hit subscribe to be notified when I post more content. So as I mentioned, I'm not going to do videos for episodes 5 and 6 of All Stars because it's kind of just a little bit too far along now.
Literally, no one cares.
But I'm just going to briefly recap what happened right at the end of bracket 2. So we found out that basically the two queens that will be going through to the next round are Crystal Method and Silky Nutmeg Ganache. And according to the Have Your Say poll results, that was what most people thought was going to happen anyway, so I don't think it was really that much of a surprise. But we did have the really interesting moment when Selena basically got really annoyed that she kind of got sort of screwed over in her eyes because no one voted for her, which meant that she didn't go through even though she won the episode. I thought it was actually really funny though. I really liked that she was giving us a little bit of drama, so personally I was really on board for that. But for those of you who are interested, I'm going to put a link in the description to both the Have Your Say poll results for episodes 5 and 6, so you can read through all of the results plus also all of the comments as well. Okay, so let's move on to episode 7, which is the start of the third and final bracket. And I'm just going to quickly go through who's in this bracket in alphabetical order. So we have Hershey LaCourgette, who was on season 16. Then we have the Mouth Almighty, Jasmine Kennedy from season 14. After that is the first openly gay contestant, Joey J, from season 13. Next up is Kennedy Davenport from season 7, All Stars 3, and then although we don't talk about it, Canada versus the World. Then penultimately, it's Sam Starr from season 17. And last but certainly not least, we have Sugarcane from season 11. I think, again, this is a very interesting mix of queens. Again, we've got one of the queens, which is Kennedy, who is a returning queen coming back for now the 4th time, although we don't talk about Canada for some reason, like we didn't with Silky. But it's interesting, I think the mix of other queens is quite cool, and it's sort of a bunch of queens you wouldn't necessarily put together. So let's move on to the actual episode itself. So most of this episode is taken up with obviously the queen's entrances, coming in, getting to know each other, that sort of thing. But we find out that the main challenge is a design challenge. Yay!
I'm not gagging.
We all know that design challenges are my absolute favourite challenges of all time.
Liza Minnelli, lies.
So yeah, not necessarily my favourite, but we find out that they have to design a Glamazonian outfit using high school sportswear materials. Again, a lot of the episode is then taken up with them doing, obviously, the sewing and all of that, and they show the queens. It looks like a lot of the queens are actually struggling because not many of them are actual sewers. So I didn't necessarily have the highest hopes going into this because of that, but anyway, let's get into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all of the runways in order in which they appeared, and then obviously give my opinion, but also what you thought in the Have Your Say poll. Okay, so starting out, we have Kennedy Davenport. Before I talk about Kennedy specifically, I will just say that we'll talk about this a little bit later in the comments section, but this was not my favourite design challenge. I think the general standard was quite low, to be honest. Not just Kennedy, but I'm talking about everyone. I don't think anyone necessarily wowed me that much, so I do just want to say that kind of from the start. Especially as someone like me who has multiple degrees and PhDs in fashion, I do obviously know my way around a sewing machine, so really the Queen should have taken advice from me. Okay, but getting into Kennedy more specifically, I thought her outfit was okay. I thought the colour combination was sort of interesting, but to me, I think it kind of just looked a bit simple, and you could see a lot of how she made it. It kind of looks like she had just taken a couple of t-shirts or whatever it was and just sort of stapled them or glued them together and put it on her body. It was fine, but it wasn't anything to write home about in my opinion. I think I'd give it a just okay. In the Have Your Say poll, you obviously did not like it very much because actually Nay came out on top with 45.8%, which was the highest. Then Just Okay came out second, but not that far behind with 41.8%. And then Yay only got 12.3%. Next up was Sugarcane. Again, I was not a huge fan of this. I think it's a cute outfit in the sense that I like the neon colours. I just think that skirt is just a little bit ill-fitting and it kind of looks a little bit like unshapely gym shorts, which as anyone who will know is not the look. I like them short and tight, as my cellmate said in prison.
Because you're a slut.
So overall I thought it was not that great, but it was sort of middle of the road for me. So again, I think I'd give it a just okay, but I think I liked it more than some of the others. In the Have Your Say poll, I think you agreed. 51.5% said just okay, but then 28.2% said nay, so still quite a lot, over a quarter, and then 20.4% said yay. After that was Hershey Le Courgette. I love Hershey so much. She's so sweet. I've spoken to her on Instagram quite a few times in the DMs. Unfortunately though, Hershey, if you are watching, love you, but this was not my favourite outfit. I can see where she was trying to go with it and do something a bit different, but it did just kind of look like a corset with something underneath it. And I don't know, it just wasn't the best to me. It just looked like I couldn't see as much construction as some of the others. Maybe it was more complicated than it looked, but it was just a little bit too simple for me. So it was probably more on the nay side rather than the just okay side. In the Have Your Say poll, you agreed 62.5% for nay, so yeah, over half of you did not like this. Then 33%, which is a third. Yes, I know you're surprised. I have a PhD in mathematics.
I didn't go to school for math.
But that is a third of you said just okay. And then only a small 4.6% said yay. After that, we had Joey J. This was one of the outfits I personally thought was one of the better ones. I think there are some things that maybe I'm not as keen on, but some people liked the kind of the red droopy thing on her because it matched with the shoes. I quite liked overall this almost, I thought, a bit Bond girl villain aesthetic with the thing around the leg, whatever you call that thing, and the hair and everything. It did definitely give me that sort of Bond girl vibe. It wasn't the best we've ever seen, but it also wasn't the worst either.
I ain't saying I'm the best, but I ain't the worst.
In this group of, dare I say, mediocre outfits, I think this was one of the better ones, so I don't think it's the most amazing outfit, but for this group, I would give this a yay. In the Have Your Say poll, 59% said yay, so that's the most I think we've had so far. Then it was 33%, which again, as you'll remember, is a third, said just okay, and then only 8% said nay. Then penultimately we have Jasmine Kennedy. Now, put your pitchforks down, because I know you're all going to come for me after this.
She's a witch! Get her!
I personally was not as in love with this as the judges were. Again, in a lineup of slightly mediocre outfits, maybe this one was slightly better. I did not really like this, though. I thought it was just a little bit too simple. Maybe the construction was more difficult than it looks, but it does kind of just look like a bra and a sort of skirt that have been spray painted a bit with some straps. To me, it just wasn't really giving a huge amount. I think the colours are really lovely, I will say that, and her body is on point, but her body was always on point before that anyway. I do think the judges were really searching for nice things to say because they couldn't say everyone did badly, but I was just not as in love with this outfit, so I think I'd give it a just okay. Surprisingly, in the Have Your Say poll, you obviously did not agree with me, so you know, F my drag. So you said 51.7% for yay, but then still 41% for just okay, which is quite a lot, and then 7.2% for nay. And then finally we have Sam Starr. To me, Sam was the only one that really did take the sports element of it and really made it as part of her look. Most of the others I couldn't really see any sports or balls references, and we all know I like a good ball or two. But I do think we've had better ones than this, but I do think Sam was the best by far because I thought the shape of the outfit was really good. You could see how much effort had gone into it. As someone, obviously, as we know, who has a PhD in sewing, I do know a lot about this sort of thing, obviously. So I appreciate all of the elements, the different balls. I liked the way that the skirt was lying. I thought it looked quite well constructed. So for this group, this was definitely a yay. In the Have Your Say poll, I was slightly surprised that this didn't get more, to be honest, but 67% of you said yay, which was the majority, but like I said, I thought this would be a lot higher. 26.3% of you still said just okay. I don't know if it's just because you thought that this was just not great overall, but again, I think you've got to look at it from the point of view that this group was not necessarily that great, so you have to look at it, was it a yay in this group, not just overall? And then 6.7 said nay. So I asked you, whose design challenge look gets a slay, as in the best one? And as I've made very clear, I think none of them are going to get it, frankly. But I guess we do have to choose one. And you voted 50.4% for Sam Starr, 23.3% for Jasmine Kennedy, and not that far behind was the gay Joey J with 20.9%. To me, it was no question, Sam definitely gets a yay. It was the only one where I feel like it really matched the theme of the sportswear, but it was also one of the only ones where I thought you could really see the construction and actual design going on, not just throwing together some stuff. So to me, Sam was easily the slay. So we find out the top two for this week are Jasmine Kennedy and Sam Starr. I asked you in the Have Your Say poll, do you agree with the top two? Interestingly, it was pretty much a 50-50 split. Yes did come out on top, barely, with 50.7%, and no got 49.3%. So of that, about half of you who said no, you did not agree with the top two. I said who should have been the top two instead. And by far, Joey J came out on top, and then it was Sam Starr. So it sounds like you would have swapped out Jasmine for Joey. And I do have to agree, personally, I thought Joey was very much overlooked this episode. I thought her outfit was a lot better than Jasmine's. Jasmine maybe would have been the third for me, because Sam was definitely the top. So yeah, I definitely think it should have been a Joey Sam top two rather than a Jasmine Sam. So, Jasmine and Sam lip-synced the song If You Were a Woman and I Was a Man by Boney Tyler, and we find out Sam wins the lip-sync and therefore the extra point and becomes the frontrunner so far. I asked you in the Have Your Say poll, who do you think won the lip-sync in your opinion? And quite a landslide, 70.2 voted for Sam Starr and 29.8 voted for Jasmine. I don't think this was necessarily the best lip sync we've ever had. I do think in general this was a slightly meh episode, if I could be so bold. I did wonder whether Jasmine was going to get it though, because they kept hyping her up as being the lip sync assassin, but I do think that Sam captured the vibe of the song maybe a bit more, and from the editing it wasn't quite clear, but they did keep showing Sam a lot near the end especially, so I kind of guessed that it was going to be Sam. Okay, so moving on to the final two questions. Question 5 was, who do you think will be the top two of this bracket and go through to the semis? And you voted Kennedy Davenport got a landslide, and so did Sam Starr, so no one else really even came close. And then question 6 is similar but slightly different, is who do you want to be the top two and go through to the semis? This is quite an interesting result because it was way more split than the previous question was. Joey J actually came out on top on this one, and then it was Jasmine, but it was quite close between Jasmine and Sam. So it sounds like you think definitely Kennedy and Sam will go through, but actually not that many people voted that they want Kennedy to go through. I wonder if it's because obviously she's been back so many times now, but it sounds like you want Joey and Jasmine to go through. Okay, so we're going to quickly move on to my special poll. Now, I do have a very girthy poll that I know a lot of you want to get your hands on, but this is only for my Patreon members and also my YouTube members. But I asked them, who of the bottom 4 would you give your MVQ point to for this episode? So as in, from what we've seen, who would you give your MVQ point to? Also, I know some of you might be saying, why are we only voting for the bottom 4? Because you can also vote for the top 2 for MVQ. YouTube and Patreon Patreon only allow a certain number of options, so that's why I can only choose the 4 of them. I can't choose all 6. And if you don't like it, then you can suck my tuck.
Hell to the no.
Now, my Patreons voted by a landslide Joey J with 71%, with Kennedy coming in after that with 21%. And then in the special poll on my YouTube, again, very similar, 60% voted for Joey, so again, it's a pretty big landslide. But then interestingly, it was split between Kennedy and Sugar, both with 20%. And I would definitely agree. I think Joey was a little bit robbed in this episode, so I would give her my MVQ because I really thought she was going to be top 2. Okay, so let's quickly move on to the comments from this week's episode, starting with my Patreon comments. And if you want to get your comments featured in my videos, but also if you want to get your hands on my girthy big poll, my special poll that is, POLL, not POLE, then make sure you do check out my Patreon and my YouTube memberships. You get things like early access, exclusive content like I recently posted about the whole Stop That Train RuPaul movie AI controversy. That's only for my members and Patreons, but I also post things like stuff that's not in my Roscoe's, blah, blah, blah. So if you want to check that out, go and check out the link in the description to my Patreon and my YouTube membership. So starting with my Patreon comment, my Patreon Lady Nidaria said, I love this group of queens. Joey J has been really fun and Sam feels like she is here to really kick butt. What on earth was this design challenge though? It was weird that it was high school sports themed, and then on top of that, all the resulting outfits were pretty awful. So Lady Nidaria did not hold back, but to be honest, I think a lot of us agreed. Moving on to my YouTube member comments, my YouTube member Shikari said, Joey J literally slayed this week. I'm so shocked she won over Jasmine or Sam. I think they mean I'm so shocked she did not win over Jasmine or Sam, unless I've just been watching the wrong episode. And I genuinely thought it was going to be Kennedy or Joey. Now, I don't agree in the Kennedy part. I don't think she was going to win this week personally, but I did think it was going to be Joey instead of Jasmine. Moving on to the Have Your Say poll comments. Now, the general theme was most people were basically saying that this was not a great episode in terms of the quality of the outfits. For example, all the outfits were so bad. I love the queens and don't blame them. I blame the materials. Well, I'm not sure. Well, maybe that's the point of it, but I also just think it was weird that they gave this group of queens a design challenge, especially so early, given that pretty much none of them were designers. And then other comments were things like, this was the worst design challenge, and for a group of queens who collectively has terrible history with design challenges, ? And then the other side of it was people were saying that Joey was robbed. That was one of the big topic points. So people were saying things like, Joey J had all the edit aspects to seem like she's about to win, but they gave the win to Sam. Sugar and Sam were on the same level. I don't agree with that personally. And Joey seemed like she knew that she was robbed. That part I do agree with. I think Joey was definitely gagged, so she thought she was going to be in the top. And then a lot of the others just said things like Joey J was robbed. Now, I do think that given that Joey J is the first gay contestant to be on the show, this was a clear case of homophobia.
It's just malicious, just gay faggotry that I just was not thinking we were going to run into here.
So I do think we need to, hold Drag Race to account for their blatant hate crime against Joey J for not putting her in the top. But yeah, really, I do think that Joey was robbed. But let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think Joey was genuinely robbed? Do you think there's a reason that Jasmine was in the top over Joey? Or do you think it was just blatant homophobia?
I'm a gay ass bitch, I'm Joey J.
Also, I'd just like to say thank you so much to the lovely, nice comments that you write, not just in this particular Have Your Say poll, but all of the others. I do read all of them, and it really does make my day, so thank you so much for taking the time to put those lovely comments. I don't always show all of the nice comments, but trust me, I do read them and I do really appreciate them, so thank you very much. Okay, so finally, we're going to move on to a little bit of recent drama, unrelated to All Stars 11, to do with Mistress Isabelle Brooks being accused of instigating sexual harassment in one of her videos. For those of you who may not know, Mistress has a popular YouTube channel, and one of her regular video series is called Mistress Monday, where she does street interviews, where she goes out into different neighbourhoods and films usually drunk strangers on a night out, and so these videos are usually pretty chaotic. But Mistress recently got called out after she posted her last video because of a specific moment in the video which people found uncomfortable. So Mistress posted a video called "Interviewing Gays Should Be Illegal, (toxic couples, BBLs and catching diseases." In the video, there was a part where a seemingly drunk older man started interacting with Mistress. Mistress then encouraged a lesbian woman who had been previously speaking to Mistress to hug this man. The man then started grabbing the woman and at one point slapped her butt. This video has since been deleted, but someone posted the clip on the RPDR drama subreddit, so I will play the clip, but please be aware that this clip is what some people found triggering.
Would you want to on any of them? Any of them your type?
Anything.
Oh, he said anything, anybody. What about her? Is she a lesbian? Oh, baby, he reached out, baby, he reached out. You said you would on anything. Give him a kiss. Give him a kiss. Get off my boyfriend! Get off my boyfriend!
She's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Sun and shine.
Thank you, you too.
Shining.
You're a flirt. You're a flirt.
I'm not flirt.
I don't know. You're.
I love you.
I love you too.
You can kiss me. One.
Thank you.
After the video went live, a lot of people in the comments on YouTube said that the woman was clearly uncomfortable and that Mistress was encouraging the man and just laughing it off, and some people felt that this was a form of sexual assault which Mistress had instigated. Mistress's initial response to the criticism was to reply to the comments and say things like, "Thanks for the comment, don't forget to subscribe." Screenshots of this then started to spread on Reddit and the situation began to escalate. Some people on Reddit also alleged that Mistress had been deleting some of the negative comments, although I can't confirm if that's true or not. Mistress then posted a pinned comment on the video where she said, "To be honest, it is slightly our fault for the way the clip was edited and posted. We were all laughing and kikiing about him being a drunken mess, and in real life it felt very light-hearted. Watching it back, I can see why some of you are viewing it differently than we experienced it in the moment, and to be honest, it has opened my eyes to how I may be accidentally desensitized to people crossing physical boundaries. Consent is everything and no one should be touching anyone without permission." In a separate comment, Mistress also said, "I know that old man was doing the most. Unfortunately, I can't control other people's actions. We were all kikiing at first when he groped me and everyone was in on the joke. In the moment, I didn't think much of it. I did step in when it started going too far with him and the girl. Looking back, maybe instigating it wasn't the wisest choice." And at that point, the video was still live on Mistress's channel. Later that day, however, Mistress posted a lengthy statement on her social media. She said, "After seeing the discourse surrounding this Monday's video, I reached out to the woman involved because I wanted to hear how she felt about the interaction rather than assume." Mistress shared screenshots of a DM conversation she had with the woman from the video with her permission. In those DMs, the woman said, "I'm doing good. I seen that everyone thinks I'm a victim now. I was having a good time and could handle my own with that old man. Standard night in Montrose, drunk and overstimulated. I thought the clips were funny. I don't know. People be sensitive." In the rest of the statement, Mistress announced that she was removing the video from YouTube, although it would remain available to subscribers on Patreon. She said her reason for removing it was not because she agreed with the criticism, but because, quote, "Mistress Mondays are supposed to be an enjoyable escape from the harsh realities we face every day." After this, though, screenshots from Mistress's Discord server were posted on Reddit, where they said that Mistress was, quote, "crashing out and complaining about the woke mob." In the screenshots from the Discord server, Mistress said, "A new week, a new cancel. I'm sorry if drunk people shooting their shot is sexual assault, or if I'm ruining young queer minds by showing people drinking and driving and getting STDs at 15, as well as, please forgive me, it's so hard to please everyone these days, we gotta be PC or the Drag Race fandom will never accept me." These screenshots spread pretty quickly on Reddit, with people in the comments calling out Mistress for venting about the situation, and people also said that this response proved, in their eyes, that Mistress's previous apology was not genuine. The the reaction to the situation overall has been pretty divided. The most upvoted comment on the Reddit thread said, "I understand why people reacted that way, and I think most of the backlash were valid. I watched the video the minute it was uploaded. That part made me extremely uncomfortable, and if that were my friend, I would have immediately pulled her away from that creepy man instead of egging it on. I'm not going to project victimhood onto that woman since she does not feel victimized, but I hope this is a learning lesson for all of us to be mindful of the people around us and to step in when we see potential harm being inflicted to others." Whereas other comments questioned whether the woman's account fully settled the issue, since the footage in their opinion still depicted sexual harassment being done for laughs, regardless of how the woman felt about it afterwards. There were also people who pointed out that although the video was removed from YouTube, Mistress was still pointing people towards it on Patreon. On the flip side, however, there were also comments defending Mistress, saying this whole situation was just being blown out of proportion. Several commenters also made the point that people love to hate on Mistress, but then as soon as she does something funny, people just love her again and forget about their previous criticism of her, so the Drag Race audience is often very fickle but also hypocritical. And that seems to be the end of the situation for the time being, and we'll have to wait and see if any further information comes out about this in the future. But as always, as I say in my videos, please do not send hate to anyone involved, and just consume this type of content responsibly. So there you go, there was the Have Your Say video for All Stars 11 Episode 7. What did you think of the premiere of Bracket 3? And do you think this was a pretty mediocre design challenge? Or do you think it was the show's fault for giving the queens bad materials to work with? Let me know in the comments. If you'd like to get things like early access, exclusive content, as well as many other benefits like priority to have your comments featured in my videos, you can check out either my Patreon, which is my main platform, or for a more convenient option if you want, you can also join my YouTube membership by clicking the join button under any of my videos. And there'll be links to both of those things in the description. I'd also like to say thank you so much to my amazing Patreon members. You are absolutely incredible. Your support truly does keep this channel going, and you have no idea how grateful I am to all of you, so honestly, thank you so much. Please make sure you like and comment on this video because it does help to boost it in the algorithm and promote it to even more people. And please make sure you do your big one and smash that subscribe button because it does make a big difference. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me in the future for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets, and drama. Thank you so much. Bye.